Good morning, students. In today's class, I will start with an introduction to the main topic of your paper, that is, what do you mean by a network? So, the main objectives of today's session is to introduce the term computer network. What do you mean by a computer network? Why we should have computer network? What are the benefits of having a computer network? And an introduction to the another term called data communication. What are the different parties involved in data communication? What are the components of a typical data communication system? So these things will be covered in today's class. After attending today's class, you will gain a knowledge so that you can easily understand the meaning of the term computer network. What do you mean by data communication? The parts or components of a typical data communication system, the benefits of creating a network, and so on. Let us start with the definition of the term computer network. Suppose if you are working in a group and each of you wants to share your information, each of you want to share some messages, then all of you should be connected to one another. Such a collection of interconnected autonomous computers, we call it as a computer network. So the definition includes three main words: collection, interconnected, and autonomous. Let us define these terms separately. Collection means in any network you take, you will have more than one entity. If it is a computer network, we have more than one computer. If it is a telephone network, we have more than one telephone. If it's a mobile network, we have more than one mobile. So collection means many are there. Interconnected. So in any network, if it is possible to exchange the information from one computer to another computer, we say that the two computers are interconnected. The interconnection may be either through a wired media or it could be through wireless. But still, if they are able to exchange the information, then we say that they are interconnected. The last term related to computer network is autonomous. In a computer network, what happens is several computers are connected to one another through some media. Either it's a wired media or it could be a wireless media. The main purpose is to exchange the information, share the knowledge, share the data, share software, hardware, etc. But we say that why they are in autonomous computer means every computer which is connected to a network can function on its own. That means it can process certain data on its own. It need not depends on other computer. That means in a network, even though many computers are connected to one another, there is no master-slave relationship. One computer cannot control or stop or start the functioning of another computer. So every computer can work independently. So because of that independence, you will have a better performance in the case of computer network. As I told earlier, the different computer which are connected to one another, the connection may be through the wired media such as telephone cables, telephone lines, radio waves, etc. Or it could be through wireless media like radio waves, satellite, infrared light beam, etc. And the connection, these three connection, cable, telephone lines, we say that they are wired connection. Radio waves, satellites, etc. We say that they are wireless media. Even one more wired media is it's one of the fastest wired media is your optical fiber. So this is a typical structure of a computer network. In the first diagram, many computers are connected to one central point. That central point, we call it as a switch or it could be a hub, etc. The second example you can take, it's not only a computer. For that network, computers are connected, printers are connected, server is connected, mobile is connected, and so on. So in any network, in a computer network also, all the entities which are connected to one another need not be only computer. We can connect even other devices also. Okay. What is the need for connecting the computer to form a network? Because networks offers you so many advantages. If all the computers are independent, then also we have five computers. In that case, there is no question of sharing of information. There is no question of sharing of data, sharing of hardware, etc. So for that purpose, We connect the computer through some network media. So the different benefits we obtain through the computer network are these things. One is resource sharing. In a computer network, many resources can be shared from one computer to another computer. The data available in one computer can be easily shared with the other computer. The hardware which is connected to one computer can be used by another computer also. The software which is loaded in one computer can be used by other computers also. So the main advantage of resource sharing is we need not purchase the resource separately for each and every computer. If you have in your network, there are 10 computers and only one printer is there, all the 10 computers can share the printout. So we can take out the printer from your computer only. So you need not come to the point where the printer is connected. So wherever you are there, if you are connected to one another, you can straight away take the printout from that end only. So hardware, software can be shared by many machines. So instead of requiring each machine to have its own separate hardware. That's the first advantage of computer network. The second one is information sharing. So in many times through the network, we can exchange some information or we can transfer some information. We can share some information. One best example for sharing of information is electronic mail. So the mail which I have created, I can easily transmit through the network so that it will received by the recipient. So electronic mail or email has become a ubiquitous for exchanging idea. We know that through the email, you need not send only text. You can send audio, we can send video clip, we can send images, we can text data, anything we can share it. So information sharing is the second main goal of having a computer network. The third important advantage of a computer network is it improves reliability. In a multi-user system, especially in the case of main computer, what happens is there was one central computer that we call it as a console, and many users which are connected to that console is provided with only a keyboard and a monitor. So the every user is provided with only a keyboard and monitor that we call it as a terminal. So many terminals are connected to one console. So here in this case what happens is the terminals cannot process the data on its own because the CPU is not there in the terminal, because terminal is provided with only input device and an output device. So every user, if he wants to process the data, then he has to send the data along with the instruction so that the processing will take place only at the console end. So here what happens is the console controls all the remaining terminal. The console stop functioning means the terminal become a dead terminal. So they cannot continue their processing because they don't have separate CPU. In the case of network, what happens is they are autonomous computer means if one computer fail, at least remaining computer can continue their work. If two computer fails, also no problem. So that means failure of one or more computers in a computer network will not stop the entire network itself, unless unlike in the case of a mainframe computer where the main server is or main console is controlling the terminals. The last goal or last advantage of having a computer network is reduce the cost. So in a network, what happens is since the hardware, software, everything can be shared, the what happens is more and more computers if you connected to the network, the price versus performance is keep on reducing. So the computer network offers better cost versus performance ratio. So the amount you have invested for the network, the benefit you get out of the network will be much more. So whatever investment you have made, the gain you'll get out of that investment, the performance is naturally more in the case of network. If you have computers independently, what happens is for every computer, we need to purchase the hardware. For every computer, we need to purchase the software. But in the case of network, they are connected to one another means hardware need not be purchased separately for every computer. Software also need not be purchased everything separately for each and every computer. Only thing is additional cost it is involved with transmission media. They have to have a interconnection. It takes a little bit extra hardware. Now move to the second important term associated with the communication is data communication. Data communication refers to transmission of the data between two or more computers. So it's a process. Data communication is a process where the information is transmitted from one end to another end or one computer to another computer. So data communication is process which establishes communication between the source and the receiver. From the information from which it originates, Suppose I want to transmit the information from computer A to computer B. Then computer A, we call it as a source, and computer B is, we call it as a receiver. Sometimes the source is one and there will be many receivers. The device that transmit the data is the source. So the computer which starts sending the data is the source, and the devices that receives the information or the data which is sent from the source, they are called receivers. So this is an example of a typical data communication system. Here, any one computer can act as a source, remaining computer can act as a receiver, and they are connected to each other through either a wireless media or it could be through a wired media. See. So this is a typical structure of a data communication system. The top computer, from there the information is available, or from there the information has to be moved to the other computer. That computer, we call it as a sender. The other computer which receives the information sent from the sender, we call it as a receiver. And the sender and the receivers are connected to each other through some transmitted media. And the sender can send a message to the receiver through the transmission media. But for that purpose, it has to follow certain rules. I will come to the different components of a data communication system in the next slide. Any data communication system you take, it involves 5 components: sender, receiver, the message, the medium, and the protocol. First one is the sender or the source. Suppose a computer A in a computer network wants to send the information to 3 different computers B, C, D. So since the information starts from A we call it as a source. So to transfer the message from source to the destination, someone must be there who play the role of a source. So sender plays the role of a source in a computer system. The sender could be either a computer, or the sender could be your mobile, the sender could be a telephone, sender could be a laptop, it could be a video camera, or it could be a workstation. So any one component in the network acts as a source of the sender. The receiver is the destination where finally the message sent by the source will arrive or has arrived. Again, similar to source, sender, receiver also could be either a mobile, it could be a laptop, it could be a telephone, it could be a workstation, it could be a computer, etc. The message is simply refers to either the data or the information which needs to be transmitted from the source to the receiver. The message could be either in the form of a text mail, simple emails, or it could in the form of an audio file, audio clip, or it could be a video clip, or it could be a static image. So any type of message can be transmitted from the source to the receiver. Transmission media. Transmission media acts as a bridge between the sender and the receiver, bridge between the source and the receiver. So the transmission media could be either a physical path. It's a physical path through which the data or the information sent by the sender will pass through, will go to the receiver. The transmission media could be either a wired media, it's also called as a guided media, or it's also called as, or it could be either a unguided media, it's also called as a wireless media. Some of the examples of wired transmission media or guided media are twisted pair cable, fiber optical cable, coaxial cable, etc. And examples of unguided media are radio waves, microwaves, etc. So anyway, we are going to study each of these guided and unguided media in our subsequent classes. Protocol. Protocol is nothing but set of rules. The rule both sender and the receiver should follow for transmission of the information. So protocol is a set of rules framed by the network design. The person who designs the network creates certain rules or rules. So those rules should be followed in the data communication process. The set of rules which governs the data communication, which is designed by the database designer, we call it as a protocol. For example, suppose computer A wants to send the information to computer B, then both of them must comes to an agreement. So based on sticking on to that agreement only, the transmission takes place between A to B. So that rules, we call it a protocol. Okay, students, in today's class, we learned the basics of computer network. What is a computer network? It's a collection of interconnected autonomous computer. Why we call it the autonomous means the computers are independent. There is no master slave relation. One computer cannot start or stop the functioning of another computer. Then why we require network? Because network gives you so many advantages. Instead of having all the 5 computers independent, if you connect them together, you will get a lot of advantages. Resources can be shared, information can be shared, and reliability offer. It offers better cost versus performance ratio. And what do you mean by a data communication system? A data communication system is a connection of it's a way or it's a process of transmission of the information from the source to the receiver. So 5 important component comes into picture in case of data communication system. The first one is the sender or the source. Second one is the receiver or the recipient. Third one is the message or the data. Fourth one is the protocol, and the fifth one is the transmission media. So some simple 2 marks question based on today's topic could be: what is a network? Define data communication. What is a protocol? What are the components of a network? What do you mean by transmission media? Explain the components of a data communication system. Explain the goals of a computer network. So to check our level of understanding, I have framed some simple multiple choice question. Set of rules which governs the network is protocol, network law, network guideline. None of this. The correct answer is A, protocol. Examples of guided transmission, guided media and the wired media is one and the same. Microwave, satellite, radio wave, fiber optic. The first 3 are wireless media. The correct answer is D. The property which indicates that failure of one or more computer will not stop the system is, we say that is a reliability. Suppose if your network has 10 computers, if all the 9 computers fail, at least if one computer can able to do the continue the work, means we say the system is highly reliable. Guided transmission media is also known as a wired media. True or false? The correct answer is true. Twisted pair is an example for protocol, unguided media, guided media, interface. So twisted pair is one example for guided media. Okay, students, with this, I will wind up today's class. In our next class, we discuss about what are the different types of network, what are the features of each of these types. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.